I just went back to the SASS homepage where we have these different information you can use. Of course, you can just go through if you want to. Documentation is a really big page with a lot of information, so that's not something you should start with at least. But there's something called a style guide here for SASS. And I'm just going to go through some of them. And this is kind of what they're not telling you to, but advising you to. So as I mentioned, brand colors or your colors for your design, this is something usually you should put in a color variable if you want. Here they just give examples of what that could be, and you should probably follow something similar to this because this is what many systems, and also the one we're going to be using later, Ionic, is using something similar to this. So down here are just examples of what that could be. So I'm just gonna go do something similar in my SASS file here. First, I have my color up here, but I'm just going to change this to a little bit better naming in our case. So instead of just having color, I'm going to do color dash primary. So this will be my primary color. And I'm going to do this for each of the specific colors I have, secondary, and then add a something something. I don't know, that's really, apparently I'm hooked on some kind of red today. And you can just continue adding the colors you're going to need. So color for secondary, primary, headers, whatever you want, or whatever you need basically. Another thing you can do as well, other than just color, so you can go through here, you can see the shadow, the primary, background, and blah, blah, blah. A lot of things, right? Create those you need. Another thing you could do is for typography, and this is kind of a good place, a good thing to do. So having this like a naming your fonts up at the top is a good thing to do. So having like this font, what did I actually say in here? Let's just go with this. So font size small and small like this, and we add that to 12 pixels. And then you continue along with all the different fonts you have in your design. So usually you have maybe a few different for headers, for paragraphs, and whatever, a few, 4 or 5 different maybe. Add those in and use these names. The more familiar you get with the specific naming of this kind of variables, the easier it will be for you to use a new framework going forward, because they are also using similar semantics in this. So add that in and continue to do this. You can also, of course, also increase this to containing font types, font faces, and so Arial or Times New Roman or whatever you want to use. But having this is a really good idea, so start using variables to store data that you know you're going to be using more than once.